Howdy, howdy, lads, MBs, and lasses. If you live in Austin, Texas, in the Harris Branch neighborhood, my name's Anthony, and I'm still your neighbor. This is a monthly update. I do these recap videos of the HOA, residential HOA meeting. These meetings occur on the third Thursday of every month. You're always welcome to join and just listen. The information for this is sent out via Town Square, so make sure you're signed up in Town Square for getting those emails, so that way you'll get the Zoom link if you want to join remotely. At this point, we don't have an on-site place to have our meetings yet, so until the Amenity Center gets the last stamp of approval, which it's almost there, we will be doing them remotely. So feel free to always just hop in and listen, or you can hit subscribe and you'll get a notification every time I post an update. Here's the agenda. These are posted on Town Square as well, so you can always see what's going on. In addition to the agenda, there is also meeting minutes that go a little bit more into detail. The secretary posts those minutes after the meeting and after they're done editing and updating them, so feel free to always go to Town Square and double click on that. 1, call to order. 2, roll call, verify quorum. Quorum was met. All of the board members were present. 3, the approval of the October 19, 2023 meeting minutes. That was done. We had a guest speaker, number 4, the fire department guest speaker, Austin Fire Department, Lieutenant Dribble. I believe his first name was Chris. Essentially, in light of one of the devastating accidents that occurred in Sterling Bridge, one of our homeowners completely lost their home. The president, Vanessa, reached out to the AFD to have a representative come on and talk about fire safety. That has been a large concern, especially among homeowners with the drought and the current climate crisis, as far as it getting hotter and less water over a spread out amount of time. So this was a great opportunity for us to ask questions, and we got a lot of good information from Chris about Firewise communities and homes. He shared and confirmed a lot of the stuff that I've been sending to homeowners when it comes to their concerns over fire breaks and stuff like that. There's a great website called Wildfire Austin. It's a hub. I'll put the link here in the description below, as well as the Texas wildfire risk. If you're ever concerned about your home being in a wildfire risk area, go to these websites, put your address in. It'll tell you if you're a low, moderate, high, and then it'll go further into detail on what exactly those things mean. A lot of instances, people are thinking they are in high dangers. The reality is we are mostly all in low to moderate out here. Just we don't have that much native spaces to ignite. The biggest issue you're going to run into is, unfortunately, the thing that happened to the homeowner is their grill or fireworks. Normally it's human error or accident that causes fires on our homes, and not so much a brush fire in the green belt. So with that in mind, Chris went over a lot of great stuff. He explained that really you do want large trees, but you want an upper canopy, so you want it high off the ground, right? So that fire will go through, but not up into the tree. You want to make sure that you keep a break. The HOA is responsible for 10 feet of break on the backside of your fence. Anything on that other side, that's up to you. If you want to put something in there, just check if you're a high risk or not. Most of the time you're not going to be, so it's not going to be that big a deal. But the real big thing that came out of this that we asked about was the asphalt roofs versus metal roofs. Because if we watch the video, it's very obvious that something has landed on the top of that house and has ignited that asphalt shingles. Now, Chris explained that, yes, while the asphalt roof is rated for a certain amount of fire protection, it has nothing on a metal roof. And in fact, metal roofs are not combustible. So you cannot catch them on fire just by the nature of their design. That brings up a really important thing that we as the board need to address if we're going to really take serious the safety of our neighborhood as well as our homeowners, your homes. We don't want those burning down. This meeting come up in December. I'm going to be making a motion that we update our CC&Rs so that way we can allow homeowners to install metal roofs, so that way we don't have another accident like we had in Sterling Bridge. As well as, if we really take a look at it, the life expectancy of metal roofs versus asphalt. With the amount of hail damage, I know I watched homeowners next to me replace a roof after hail damage. Next storm came through and they had to replace it again. This might be a big opportunity for us in changing the way we go about business and giving you guys the opportunity all to make your home safer and give you that peace of mind that the next time a hailstorm comes through, unless it's just insanely large and then it doesn't matter what you have on your roof, your home will be fine. You don't have to go through a whole nother roofing process. On that point, and this is why it's so important, I'm very happy that the president brought this professional, this fire department lieutenant, to tell us the reality and the facts. And he said that in the hierarchy of things, the metal is the best way to go. And he has metal on his home. So just a glowing endorsement of why we need to start considering moving away from asphalt roofs, or at the very least, give everybody the opportunity to make that decision for themselves. So that'll be something I'll be putting up for a vote with the board this month. And hopefully we'll have an update on if it makes it through in our next update video. And before we move on to the next agenda item, I wanted to show you this website, Texas A&M, Texas Wildfire Risk. It's really great. Gives you all information on what you need to do to make sure your house is safe and the things that can create potential hazards. You simply put in your address here, assess my risk, and then boom, you're good to go and seeing exactly what your risk is. Here is the Austin Area Wildfire Hub. This is another one. These links are going to be in the description down below. You can see where they're doing local burns, where there's fire risk, potential, stuff like that. Even they link back to the A&M risk assessment. So make sure you're putting your address in there before you do anything as far as cutting things down or destroying stuff. See what your risk is actually before you engage in any of that. 5, Gutters guest speaker James Whiting. They were not present, so we went ahead and moved on. 6, the homeowner forum. We had 2 homeowners who were simply on to listen. 7, the financial report. The biggest thing on the financial report right now is we're going through making the budget for next year. We just wrapped up a budget session, so I believe we've got the final draft and we just now need to vote on it. That'll get posted to Town Square so you can go through and look through it. A lot of cost cutting that needed to be done to keep us at the $494. That was one of the big things that we wanted to make sure we weren't raising dues. One of the biggest things is we won't be having lifeguards anymore at the pool. It's going to be a swim at your own risk. That pool has always been a swim at your own risk as far as its classification. Additionally, we have a cleaning service with ATX Solutions. They were insanely expensive. We thought we were going to get a lot more out of them than we got. So we have gone ahead and canceled that contract, or are in the process of canceling it, and we're about to hire an on-site porter who will be here 5 days a week as a salaried employee. So that way they are able to just traverse the property and pick up trash as needed, as opposed to folks driving in from ATX Facility Solutions to pick up trash in a less frequent amount. Lastly, there was another piece on the budget cutting. We were paying about $800 for Goodwin to have their reps drive our neighborhoods at night to see which light poles were out, and then reach out to either, if you're on the east side of Harris Branch Parkway, you would reach out to Bluebonnet. If you're on the west side, you'd reach out to Austin Energy. The reality is it really didn't make much of a difference, and it's free for homeowners to call these in as they see fit. So if there's a light that you see that's out, call 311 or call Bluebonnet. They'll give you instructions on how to identify the light, and then you can make that request that way. This was just an extra thing that we tried a couple times. This is more of a Vanessa Valerie thing. I was not a big fan of this because we already have the capability of doing this for free, but we tried it. It has not been very successful, so that'll be getting the axe, and we're going to go back to, if you have something that you need, call the appropriate folks who deal with it. 8, the President's Report, Cost Reduction Saving Plan. This is going to be something I kind of just mentioned already, but it will be in the budget once it's posted. That will be on Town Square once we all are on board with it and approve it. 9, the Harris Branch Community Managers Report. Juan went over the Town Square metrics. Mailboxes were being broken into. If you have an instance where a mailbox has been broken into, report it to USPS. The HOA is not responsible for the mailboxes, but do notify your neighbors in the event that they think that they're going to be getting mail and they never receive it. My recommendation is, if you can, check it daily. Normally the mailboxes get hit at night, so if you get to your mailbox before that, then you're going to get your stuff before any potential person's able to steal it. I know that's not always possible, but it is the best practice. We had an incident where a homeowner was releasing a bunch of stray cats into the neighborhood, and we had to get the Austin Humane Society involved with capturing these cats and taking them to the shelters. If you see any cat that's out there and its ear is not notched and there's no collar on it, if you can, try your best to catch it. See if it, there's a couple people in the neighborhood. There's a great, robust community of folks who will help you with scanning it to see if there's an owner for it. There's even a link down below for the Facebook group for lost pets. We get a ton of posts about lost pets. If you see something like that, you can rent traps from the Austin Humane Society to catch cats. Mainly just the biggest thing that's so important is, even if it's your cat, make sure it's spayed or neutered. We don't need any colonies of feral cats growing up around here in Harris Branch. And so you can always go, they have a free program where you can trap. It's called Trap and Release, but they can do the spaying and neutering at the Austin Humane Society, and you can rent the traps from them. Essentially, it's free, but you have to put your credit card on so that you make sure to return the trap. And the easiest way to always tell if you see a cat that has its ear notched, that means it's fixed. So that's always a good thing. And for homeowners who let your cats free range, it's very, very dangerous. Please go ahead and keep those cats as indoor cats only. The amount of cats we see run over by cars on the road, not coyotes, cars, are the biggest thing that is killing our pets. So please make sure that you're keeping your cat indoor for its safety and for other safety. If you really love it, that is the best way to ensure it has a long life of loving you. 10, committee reports. The Architectural Control Committee, the ACC. This is the folks who volunteer to review your outside changes. Say the door color of your front door, the roof you want to put on, the color paint you want to do on the outside. It's a really great opportunity to help guide the vibe and the aesthetics of the neighborhood. Essentially right now, because Vinny is now our treasurer, we have an opening on the ACC because the state law does not allow for you to serve on both. Good thing, by the way. But we still haven't gotten an applicant, so please make sure you submit. Go to Town Square. There's a whole PDF on everything that you need to fill out. There's not much, but there is a PDF you need to fill out, submit it, and then we can get somebody in that role. My best recommendation to you is to treat it as not being super rigid and just, oh, we only allow these 10 shades of beige. Look at it aesthetically. Does it look good? Do you think it looks right? Is it up to date? Then support it. If not, you're like, oof, that's not even, who made this? No. Go ahead. If you are interested, please submit your application so we can get that position filled. B, community enhancement enrichment, the fitness center and sports court resurface. As I mentioned last time, one of the biggest things that's been going on has been the insane amount of remodeling that is going down in the gym area. This is information you can catch up on if you go and watch the update from last month. However, during all that renovation, they're getting rid of the doors, putting in windows. There was mold found, came back, tested, confirmed. They stripped it down. It's still being treated. All the equipment that is going to be going into the gym is still on its way. It's going to be out of commission until probably January, late January, for all the flooring and possibly HVAC unit replacement. There's a lot of money going into this, and this is a huge spend. There's been 4 pickleball courts. They're still pending. That, again, is still back to the resurfacing of the tennis courts. We've got 2 4-square things that will be painted on the basketball court. That right now is in limbo. Unfortunately, the backboards that were ordered for it are not the correct size. The ones installed on it originally are different, so those had to be sent back. And so new nets are on their way to be installed on those backboards that are up right now. We had 2 tether balls. They were still pending verification all parts. I believe already the balls have been stolen on one of them, maybe both. I haven't checked. Then you have 2 horseshoes with backboards. Those are supposed to be going in soon, if not already in. The basketball court has not been resurfaced, hasn't been repainted either. Right now, I think it's just been washed, so it's still waiting for paint before it is complete. C, lifestyles and communications. Maintenance Committee newsletter update. I made a video about that. I'll link it at the end of this so you can go and watch that and get that info. D, Emergency Planning and Safety Committee. There is issues at the pool with the fence being bent. You can push through that fence and the gate locks that weren't working. We're still waiting on an update from what they can do about that. And then there was a few concerns over the lighting fixtures in the pool. 11, Old Business Fitness Center renovation and betterments, ATX fitness equipment. Covered that already. B, Landscape Maintenance Agreement, Urban Dirt. Urban Dirt has been an absolute nightmare. I had spent a couple days with them prior to the completion of this contract. This was a company that was pushed for by Valerie and Vanessa. I was not ready. I wasn't a big fan of switching to a new company before we've given them a chance to do a project and see how it works. Unfortunately, Valerie and Vanessa are really big into this RFP process. I'm more of the mindset of give this opportunity to the company, see how they do, see how they treat us, see what they get done, how they maintain it, then offer them more and more of the pie. Unfortunately, with Urban Dirt, and even Vanessa and Valerie have admitted that they have been abysmal, to say the least. One of the biggest things, and I'll show pictures of that here, is we've had some no-mow areas that we've been reforesting. One of these areas was over 2.5 years of growth. We had planted over 700 saplings in this area, and about 4 or 5 of those trees were starting to go. Urban Dirt came through, despite me driving the neighborhood, showing them where there's a sign both in Spanish and English for them to see, and they came through and wiped out a good chunk of it. So unfortunately, we lost over 2.5 years of growth in that area. I went ahead and messaged that to them. The CEO, Josh, has been non-existent. I cannot discourage you enough to never use that company in any circumstance. The additional piece has been we had a new planting, and that was covered in my landscaping planting projects video near the St. Marin Greenbelt. That's going to be about 1,000 saplings that are going in, and we had stopped mowing in that area to provide a little bit taller grass to provide shade for those saplings, so we'll have a more successful rate of them. When we say 1,000 saplings, about 7% of them survive. So it's kind of, you put them in, water them once, and that's it. That's the whole idea, because it's so much cheaper and easier to do that than it is to buy a big tree and run irrigation to it and stuff like that. Urban Dirt, of course, mowed that as well, so we lost all that cover. Luckily, I had talked to the tree folks rep, and they were willing to still go through with the flagging, which we completed, and then they were also okay with us still planting. So that project's still pending. That's going to be done by a contractor. I cover these in detail in the reforestation flood mitigation video. Go check that out to get more details. However, also on that front, we did a ready set plant, and I got to meet the friends of the Harris Branch Creek. Great people, absolute blast going out there. We planted over 1,300 saplings. So we do have a trail now in the Harris Branch neighborhood. So that's awesome. It's always great to see other folks helping out, because we need all the help we can get, because so many people just want them all cut down and mowed. That was a great experience. If you can, I'll put the link below. Friends of Harris Branch Creek, sign up so that way you'll know the next outings or events that they plan. For Urban Dirt, right now I'm working with SunGrow to try and see how they do with our canopy cutting. You'll see that in the newsletter for this month. Hopefully they do good. Talking to Will, he seems to have his head on his shoulders and a much better understanding of how native ecosystems work than Josh did at Urban Dirt. C, the pool service agreement, ABC Home and Commercial. I believe that's been locked in. We're done with that. I'll also add on there D, there's a Lakeview playground that we've added a gate to, so now it's easier for those folks in that neighborhood to easily cross over to get to the gym and the pool instead of having to walk all the way up to Farm Haven. So that's done. Old wound healed. 12, new business, holiday lights for amenity center, and B, security system for amenity center. At this point, really it's just 2 individuals that are pushing for spending this amount of money on light pollution. The reality is always going to be motion lights, not lights that stay on all the time, because as soon as somebody realizes they're on all the time, they know what's up. Additionally, you can go on Nextdoor, you can go and see any of the security footages that are out there of things being stolen. Lights, cameras did not prevent the theft. The best you can hope for is that a person intervenes. And so what I've explained to the previous board and Valerie and Vanessa is that it's very easy for any of us to look at night at that area. If it's dark, then we know no one's over there moving. But if all those lights are on, then we know someone's over there moving, and we can notify somebody to go check it out. But if the lights are on, like this giant Christmas tree, you'll never know what's going on over there. So that's something that I think the majority of the board understands. Unfortunately, those two are reluctant to this. And in fact, we had a conversation with our property manager, and he very clearly explained, out of all the properties that he manages at HOA, they've spent thousands of dollars on cameras and lights. Stuff still is getting stolen, and the cameras don't really do any good unless it gets a license plate or something that can identify somebody. If there's nothing like that, then it's not going to help. He did say he has one neighborhood, and this was crazy to me. That neighborhood has photo IDs for every homeowner. So that's how they were able to identify who stole the items. So if you want a large database with your identity in it, where the HOA to check, these are really two things that the board really needs to put to rest. And we need to get with the times with what is most effective for security, not things that make us feel good but don't actually prevent theft. And that wraps up the update for the November residential HOA meeting. Hopefully you guys find these videos helpful. Leave a comment down below with any questions, concerns, complaints, or praises. And hit subscribe if you want to be up to date when the next one releases, or any one of my other videos in regards to items and issues that are going on in the neighborhood. I really appreciate y'all watching, and y'all stay safe out there during this holiday season, and take care. Bye.